This is the beginning part of Fox Corner Community Wildlife Area on a glorious, not quite winter's day, towards the middle of December, and heading towards the first bridge from the east. No, trying to remember which direction. The west end of the reserve. Some rather nice bracket fungus. Always rather taken with these trees. They catch me out every time I come to this place this time of year. Really relatively straight. Ash trees, which make up quite a large part of this part of the reserve. Rather fine bridge, new bridge, which has been built relatively recently over the Stanford Brook, I believe, one of the small tributaries which feeds into Whitmore Common eventually, one of the larger commons to the north of Guildford. This time of year you don't get to see all the vegetation as much, so it strips it right back. Lovely sunshine shining through the trees. Light catches on winter trees. In the background, a few tits calling as well. It's times of year to see lichens on winter trees. A rather fine interpretive panel for the pond at Fox Corner. A little bit faded now. It's rather a great pond. I've seen many interesting things in the last few years. Look at my blog, you might see some articles about it. It's looking at reasonably full. Some thrushes calling in the background. Here we have alder growing because they seem to like lots of water. If you can look closely, you can just see these lovely border catkins in the light. Just the right kind of day for filming today with the light and the low wind. There's not really much wind at all. And you can see the reed mesas. Very clearly. A few years ago I used to come here to just on that green sward ahead of us and sit on a log up there, and it became my sit spot for a few months, where I just come and sit quietly and see and hear and smell and just let nature wrap itself around me. There's the sound of traffic in the background, but once you start tuning in, hear the odd nuthatch in the background. Just something rather awe-inspiring about winter trees. See the trees as they really are. Their shapes and structures. A bit behind the riverbank is actually flooded. Just on the tree there, the little wren just flew off. There's numerous jackdaws and redwing here. I can't quite pick up with this. Oh, and a great spotted woodpeckers just flown in. Up just behind this tall aspen behind. Some siskin flying over my head. This is one of my favourite parts of the reserve, where the river runs. Here I've seen kingfisher, teal, mandarin duck, tree creeper, to name some of the birds. And in front of us, in the mud, human footprints, but there's also some deer slots, probably by the size of them. Roe deer, just not long come through, it looks like, from the freshness of them. Muddy, I don't think I've seen it quite like this before. I follow the path that bends round here. Be careful underfoot. the brook is rather swollen with water. It's very muddy, as you can see, and running quite fast. Something else you get to see around here, further up to the eastern edge of the reserve, are these the molehills. Never actually seen a live one, only in pictures and film. Just had one of those moments where I saw a ripple first on the water, which caught my attention just down there on the brook, and then a disappearing small body of a bird, I think, with white on the edge of its tail, sort of greenish colour. Other things which catch my attention, and it appealed to my imagination, and I wonder what they were at one stage. You can see the line going along here just underneath the leaves a little bit. It's kind of like a darkened shape. It runs all the way up there and then goes right through the other side of that tree there, all the way and further over. And there seems to be some more darker shapes there on the wall, which were once some outhouse. To the start, over another little bridge. There's lots of water comes through here. It would seem, looking at this ditches either side, as you can see, ditch there, and then back up here, and a ditch running off that way, and also there and there.